any communication, when you speak to another person with a different point of view. For example, if you try to tell me that exercise is a good form of is a better option than reading a book, you're having a debate with me because you're trying to convince me on a point of view that I do not believe in. So whenever you have a discourse with someone else and you try to convince them on a different point of view, something that you believe in and they don't believe in, that is potentially called a debate. You are trying to convince them and move them over from the others, from the opposite side to your side. This is what debate is all about. As public speakers, we have to master this art. As communicators, as family members, as people living in society, this is a skill that we definitely need because it'll help us in no matter, in no ends. I wish I had debating skills when I was in school. I could have definitely done much better convincing my teachers, convincing my parents on what should be done for progress rather than what was done. To get to the session formally, what is a debate? A debate is an organized argument or contest of ideas in which the participants discuss a topic from two opposing sides. Those who agree to the topic is called the pro side, the proponents for the proposition. And those who do not agree with the statement or do not agree with the side are called the con side or the opponents. The proposition and the opposition, or the proponents and the opponents, or the pros and the cons. Each side will attempt to show in an organized and clever, note the use of the word clever, way in which they believe they have the right answers. They can use examples, they can provide evidence, they can give statistics, they can give universal truths to support their ideas while they try to push the audience towards one conclusion. The aim of the debate, any debate that you have, any format of debate that you have, the aim of the debate remains the same across the board. You are trying to convince the opposition and the audience that your side is right. When two sides agree on the subject, or when one side's arguments are more convincing than the other side, that is when normally the debate comes to a close. However, in a contest scenario, the decision is usually done by the judges. The moderator is a person who stands in between and ensures that both the sides maintain the rules of the debate. The debate is carried out according to the rules. Moderator is there to ensure that law and order is followed while the debate is carried out. The judges decide who wins or who does not win. At least this is what happens in a Toastmasters format. As participants of the debate, our role primarily is to put together a good show which will convince the audience and the other side that we have more credibility on our end. And for this, we use every possible weapon that we have. We can use language. We can couch our arguments in superior language. We can bring statistics to the table. We can bring proof. We can bring general ideas. Anything and everything is possible as long as you don't get into the mode of abusing the other side. The debates that we have to be conducted respectfully. Education sessions in Toastmasters is incomplete without a presentation. So if you will allow me to share my screen. I have a presentation. Yeah.
You're allowed to share your screen.
Okay, I'm sharing my presentation right now. You can see my screen, Toastmaster Dinesh. Thank you.
Yes.
The debate contest. We're going to approach this education session from the point of view of contests and how debates are conducted in District 105. What are the rules that govern debates in District 105? The most important rule that you need to be aware of first is the timing rules. When we do debates in District 105, there are very specific timing rules. And remember, now that we are on Zoom, once we cross the timing, we are automatically muted. So whatever we have to say it within the time allotted to us, because anything that crosses time will not be available to the audience. What is the time that is available to us? There are 3 speakers in every debate team. For every team, there are 3 speakers. The first 2 speakers will get 3 minutes each, and the third speaker gets 2 minutes. The opening speaker gets 3 minutes, the rebuttal speaker gets 3 minutes, the closing speaker gets 2 minutes. There is no amber light. Usually during a debate contest, it's only green and red. Green comes on at 2 minutes 30 seconds, 1 minute 30 seconds. 30 seconds before your time is due to end, you will get the green light. So once you see the green light, you know that only 30 seconds more is left. Red light comes on at exactly the time when the time is over. So at 3 minutes and 2 minutes respectively, the red light comes over. In debate, we only give you 10 seconds of grace period. After 10 seconds of grace period, the Zoom master will cut off your mic. So whatever script, whatever arguments that you prepare, usually debate is done in an impromptu mood. Your one eye should be on the camera, the second eye should be on the timer. The moment the timer shows green light, start winding up your conversation. There is no amber light, and after 10 seconds, the Zoom master will turn off your mic. So bear in mind the timing guidelines for debate. During the debate session, nobody is allowed to interrupt, so there is no clapping. You can use reaction scenes, but otherwise, the speaker gets 3 uninterrupted minutes. What is the speaking order? The team speaking for the motion always starts and ends the debate. The first speaker will be from the team speaking for the motion. The last speaker will also be from the team speaking for the motion. There are 6 speakers. So the team speaking for the motion, the opening speaker will speak first. Then the mic will pass on to the opposite, the opening speaker for the other team. The second speaker or the third speaker will be the speaker from the rebuttal team. And the fourth speaker will be the speaker from the opening team. The reason is every speaker should have equal amount of time to prepare the rebuttal. So if the opening speaker's rebuttal person comes in as a third speaker, the fourth speaker in the lot will get extra time to prepare. This is why we have this arrangement. Team A1 begins, B1 follows A1, A2 is not the next speaker, B2 is the next speaker. So the format goes in a particular way. The final speaker will be the speaker who closes, who has from the team that has opened the debate. Always remember that particular format. Now, the opening speaker from team A, he will build the case. Always remember, opening speakers have only one function. They are only allowed to come in and build the case. They cannot go into rebuttal mode. The second team's opening speaker might feel that I have to rebut, but never go into that mode. Opening speaker has only one function: state your team's position, and state your team's position without changing the motion. If the motion is silence is the best policy, you should not come out, the opposition team should never come out and say silence is not the best policy. What you say is, we speak against the motion, silence is the best policy. The motion has never got to be changed, and the opening speaker of both the teams have to build the case and give credible reasoning or example as to why this is true or this is not true. The second speaker's role is to rebut. When I say rebut, the second speaker or the rebuttal speakers listen carefully when the other team's opening speaker speaks and rebuts every point that they have laid down. You cannot bring in anything new. If they are talking about point ABC, you have to rebut ABC. You cannot introduce D, E, and F because your opening speaker missed to speak out on those. You cannot introduce, the first speaker is the only speaker who's allowed to present anything new. Second and third speakers in the team are not allowed to bring anything new at all. The final speaker is a summarizer. The summarizer speaker is got to be extremely clear. They have only got 2 minutes to present their script. And in those 2 minutes, 1 minute is dedicated to the opening speaker, 1 minute is dedicated to summarizing the rebuttal speaker's notes. So when in a team, when you're forming a team, your best listeners should be your rebuttal speakers. The person with the best listening skill should be your rebuttal speaker. The person who can write the most strongest opening should be your opening speakers. The active listener, the one who can listen the best, who can write down things fast, who can process it better, should always be your rebuttal speaker. And the summarizer should ensure that they close the opening speakers and the rebuttal speakers' points are summarized within 2 minutes. It's very important in a debate to have the final speaker end on time. If the final speaker does not end on time, usually that is the last speaker and it leaves a very bad impression to the judges. If you are talking about the topic, say we have a sample topic, space exploration is a waste of resource. Like I said before, at no point during the debate are you allowed to change this motion. You cannot say, if you're speaking for the topic or if you're speaking against the topic, you cannot say space exploration is not a waste of resources. You have gone against the motion. You have modified the motion, which is not allowed. So remember this, as this is a basic rule in the debate. Opener builds the case. Ideally, it would be better if he can provide 4 or 5 points to substantiate the motion, and it is better if he begins by defining what is the scope of this motion. That is, what are we here to prove? You have to explain it to the audience. Don't assume the audience understands the motion. When you come to debate, you have to tell the audience what is it that you believe in, or what is it that we are here to prove. It has to be explained to the audience in very clear language. That is called stating the motion. Then you have to give 4 or 5 points as to why you believe this is the case. And you have to close with the statement, therefore, we as a team firmly stand by the statement, space exploration is a waste of resource. You have to close by stating the motion. The rebuttal speaker systematically attacks the points brought in by the opening speaker of the other team. He has only one function: to completely weaken the opposition team's arguments. You have to go point by point. Now, when I say you have to go point by point, if they are stating some universal truth and you have a very weak argument against that, do not make it your point number one. A rebuttal speaker has to be able to think on his feet. It has to be the best table topic speaker in your club. Or in your group, the best table topic speaker will be usually the rebuttal speaker, because the rebuttal speaker will have to decide which is the point that I speak about first and which is the point that I speak about second. A weak point cannot be followed by a strong point. The opposition may deliver points in a particular format, but your script will depend on which is the strongest point in your arsenal. And when the rebuttal speaker finally ends the argument, the rebuttal speaker has to again reiterate the motion. A rebuttal speaker is allowed to be a little aggressive. Aggressive, but not abusive, please. You have to give due respect and reverence to the other side, because they are also Toastmasters. Remember, you're sitting on opposite sides of the table, but you're all still friends. And you need to remain friends after the debate is over. So treat everybody with a lot of respect and a lot of reverence. The closing speaker summarizes the arguments of both his team members. So 1 minute, ideally, for summarizing whatever the opening speaker said, and 1 minute for summarizing whatever your rebuttal speaker said. Again, you will end by reiterating the motion and asking the audience to agree with you. One thing you need to note, very, very, very important. And this is something that is again and again mentioned in the judges' training sessions. No introducing any new point. You might get so caught up with the debate, and suppose you're doing the debate and your opening speaker didn't have enough time to finish speaking. You might think, let me say the 2 points that he missed. No, don't do that. That is politically committing suicide, because in that instance, the judge will automatically mark you down for not following the rules of the debate. Usually, the first round of debates, which is held at the club and at the division, The topic is given to you at least 2 to 1 week before the contest. But as you proceed further, preparation time is anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes. So within 5 to 15 minutes, you'll have to build an opening, a rebuttal, and a closing. So it's very important that the team be in complete sync with each other. The best way to do it is meet regularly, get together regularly, talk to each other so that you have an understanding of how the other two work. That's very important in a debate. If the full team does not make it to the stage when the moderator calls, the team has 2 minutes to appear, after which they will be disqualified. So it is very important the day of the debate that your mobile phones be charged and you are ready and available. And if any case you cannot be available, you need to let the debate moderator and your team members know what is the status. If you are not on the stage when they call for you, you will automatically be disqualified. Speaking order must be informed to the debate moderator before the contest or the debate starts. You have the option of changing the speaking order in between the debate. But again, you should inform the debate moderator. Protests are possible if you get assistance from members who are not part of your club during the preparation time. This used to happen during physical debates. Now, with WhatsApp and online medium, we usually take help from anywhere. If somebody finds out, then you could be in trouble. Protests are only possible on 2 particular subjects. If you use abusive language, personal attack, personal accusation, if you use any kind of discriminatory remarks against the opposition team, they can call in for a protest. Second, every member who participates in debate has to be a member of good standing. Your fees with TMI should be paid in full, and you should be on the club's roster. These are the only 2 grounds for protest in a debate contest. And protests can be only made by participating members or judges. The audience cannot protest. Originality is not required in debates. You can use content from any source. A few questions that I'll answer for you. Can the seated team raise objection, interrupt, or ask questions during a contest? During debates or any format of Toastmasters, we have a very silent rule that we follow. We do not interrupt the person on stage till we are specifically asked or till there is a question and answer round. So if a speaker is speaking during a debate contest, there is no way that we can interrupt the speaker to make a point. We have to sit silently and give them their time to finish speaking. Taboo topics are not permitted during debates. So please refrain from raising any taboo topic mentions during the course of the debate. If your team member, if say on the day of the debate, you find that a particular member of your team is missing, can we call in another competent member from the club? Only if the chief judge or the debate moderator agrees to it and it's subject to their discretion. Normally, I see that it is not allowed, but you can try and ask them if your team member is missing. Usually that team, if a team member is missing, the entire team is disqualified. Subject to the debate moderator and the chief judge, and there is no arguing with them on this. Within the team, the speaking order can be changed at any point, but you should inform that particular debate moderator before the contest begins that your sequence has been changed. During a physical contest, you are not allowed to carry electronic devices on stage. So it is the old method of paper and pen notes. Any use of props, you have to ensure that the sergeant-at-arms and the debate moderator knows about it. And let me tell you, using a particular background for your Zoom meeting is also considered as a prop. If you're going to do that, you need to let your sergeant-at-arms or debate moderator know about it. A team comprises of 3 members in good standing. If any member is found to be not in good standing before the beginning of the debate, the entire team can be disqualified. 5 to 15 minutes preparation time, depending on your division rules. Debate rules are usually formed by the division. Okay. Protests can be raised with the debate moderator or the chief judge before the result is announced. Once the result is announced in Toastmasters, you can't do anything to change it. Even if the wrong result is announced, you have to go with it. So no changing the result after it has been announced. Protests can be entertained only by participating members or judges at that particular contest, not by anyone else. Protests are possible only on the grounds of eligibility or any form of personal accuse, racial abuse, or abusive language. The rules of judging: the contestants should not try to contact the judges or influence them in any way, manner possible during the contest or after or before the contest. Debate moderator is allowed to interrupt the debate proceedings if they find that the guidelines are not followed. When the judges are scoring the ballots, please do not interfere or make any noise. And the judges' decisions remain final all throughout the contest. That brings us to the end of the education session. Time